last time on Doc of Shame.
Well, I guess because it's like fancy living where they are.
Fancy living.
All
Here we come.
right. Fair
La.
enough.
Zeke says yo a lot. Cut back to the pool.
We're just never gonna skip right past that.
There's nothing else to say. This dude was eliminated first.
I don't care what your religion is, but if you like
yes, I don't know. I don't care what you believe in life. I don't care if you believe in God, a bunch of gods, no God, or if you believe Chris McClain is the true God. Ezekiel.
Zeke is the only God.
Welcome, campers, to the Doc of Shame podcast. Today we will be talking about episode 23, Camp Castaways. My name is Matt, and joined with me, as always, are...
My name is Chris, and I live every day with the energy of Tall Jared.
I don't get the reference, but yes.
My name is Matt Walsh, and I live all my energy with the days of Jared Tall.
My name is Gabe, and I don't get the reference.
Oh, it's a Cyanide and Happiness character.
No, it's not.
No.
No, wait, isn't it?
It's there's a chance it is, but like I think I know who you're talking about. My reference is actually from Later Alligator.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of Tall Justin.
That's it. Yeah, it's a similar vein.
All right. It's been a while since we've recorded, but that's true for almost every episode we do of the show.
Yeah.
How have you all been? It's not like we haven't talked to each other on an almost daily basis, but
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
in the universe of Doc of Shame, like if they don't know that Team Chaos Productions exists, and we have 4 amazing podcasts that vary from football to tabletop gameplay to video games. It's been good. It's been a month and a half since we last recorded.
something like that. Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's not much has changed in my life, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the episode. Let me find my notes. Chris is in his recap is talking about the place where they all got voted out. Mentioned the shocking twist that everyone was dealing with.
As if it was a good twist.
was quite a twist. I did not copy some of these notes down.
Oh boy.
Looks like I lost some of them. Okay. Okay, so in the recap, Chris is talking about the Lyadel losers, the place where they get voted out. Mentions the shocking twist of Lashana getting voted out that all of us loved.
Oh my god, that was like, you know what? Don't even go back, because I absolutely loved that twist. I was on the edge of my seat, and I had no idea what they were going to do. And then they voted Lashana off, and I couldn't, and I personally couldn't wait for Lashana to get voted off.
Walsh, you better fucking not.
Say psych right now.
He did say it.
I know now.
After the theme song, it is raining. And Chris has some dialogue that implies that he pulled some strings to get it to rain, which is a wild sequence of events.
Listen,
like
man,
a wild implication.
It is a twist on what we've that those who watched to this point of the series understand. I assure you things will be explained later in a lot more detail.
Yeah. Yep. So the campers are all hanging around. Gwen's kind of moping. Heather's taunting her, saying like, "Oh, the moping won't bring Lashana back." as she's painting her toenails. Duncan is mentioning how like not even Owen could make this sound this day feel good. And Owen is revealing some things about how the confessional makes him confess things, which was a really good line.
As they do.
As they do.
Yeah.
As one does.
Good, it's serving its purpose.
Yeah. And he, among other things, he mentions that he has a secret food stash that he took from, that he mainly took from Chef. And all the campers go to sleep for the night. And it continues to rain. And what happens? But their cabins are totally gone. They get washed away by the rain. Chef is calling them for breakfast, but no one's showing up. Because they're all floating down the river. Heather and Gwen are still in their bunks, which I know was easier to animate, but I feel like if there's only two of you, why not just sleep in separate beds entirely?
Yeah.
That's too easy.
Yeah,
Because that's not my bed.
I can forgive them for that too, because it is like having those stacked beds and having just one on like having each of them on their own separate thing is just like does that, like, it makes sense, I guess, but from an animation point of view, I get it. I understand.
No,
that.
it makes sense.
I also like just the strange logic of like, I hate you, but we're still gonna be bunk buddies.
Right.
Right.
best buddies. The best buddies.
Yeah. So Heather, Duncan, and Gwen are all in the water. They're running up and away from a shark back to safety. Owen is not there. Owen is still giving a confessional.
So, how did he just stay up all night in the confessional?
Yeah, I believe that's what happened.
Yeah, I think it implies that he fell asleep in the outhouse and
woke up
just
still
woke up
doing
there.
confessing.
Yeah, that's so funny because he fell asleep while doing it and then woke up and continued to do it.
Yeah, like he started he woke up and decided to tell the story about how he ate all the baked goods at the Boy Scouts bake sale or whatever the fuck the story was.
And he finally opens it and realizes that he is adrift at sea. He is distraught. He doesn't know what's going on. And then we cut to Duncan, Gwen, and Heather on the beach, who are insisting that this is some sort of a couple of them are insisting that let me start over. Heather is insisting that it's some sort of challenge. Gwen is in the mindset of we're lost completely, we need to get off of here. And Duncan is saying, hey, let's just wait for the producers. They'll come get us. So those three conflicting mindsets kind of drive the conflict for this episode.
Yeah, and mainly Gwen and Duncan are butting heads while Heather is just wanting to ignore them.
Yep. We also get a confessional from Chris talking about the structure of the island and how it was better than the campers were saying. Like, hey, we put a budget into this.
So I wanted to ask you guys, and of course you also have the headspace knowing what happens later in the episode. What do you think is the geographical understanding of this? Like, you have the main island, and then there is like maybe a small island off of it, similar to Boney Island, and that small island is where all of the rest of this takes place?
I think this is the same island, but just on like a separate part of it, because they cut to like what seems like the same area that Chris and Chef always go when there's like a challenge and they don't want to be like directly involved. And I feel like we've seen multiple times now where like the episode where Duncan and Courtney kind of find them and steal their food. And then in this episode where the four of them end up finding them eventually. Like, I think that I think it's on the same island, but I think it's just a different part of it, and enough of a different part of it that makes them think that it's a completely different island entirely.
I think that checks out. Do you all know where this takes place geographically, like in the world?
Canada.
Oh, they say it, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the specific name of it?
Muskoka.
Oh,
Muskoka, Ontario.
Muskoka is a real place?
Yes.
Okay.
I study for my quiz.
I know this is a little later in the episode, but they even make reference of that because they're like, why are there palm trees like here? And Chef actually asks Chris that.
Yeah.
And they explain that they were also leftover props from the movie, the dinosaur movie that we will see effects from.
Spoilers.
Chris and Chef are wondering where everyone went, and they decide that they're going to go eat back at their camp, not the disgusting food that Chef makes. We get some more arguing from Gwen and Duncan. Heather decides to leave Gwen and Duncan, and then we get a cut to Owen, who finally lands at the island, is relieved to see land, relieved to see sand, and then sees the giant dinosaur bones and runs straight back into the outhouse.
Listen, I'd shit my pants too if I saw that.
Fair.
And then Chris makes the comment about how like it was worth it, like moving that there lost a couple interns.
That's right.
Seeing Owen's face was all worth it, and this is like a running gag through the episode of losing interns, and they kind of skirt the line of like, did they die? Did they get injured? Did they just quit?
It's implied throughout the entire show that they're sent to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they lose a lot of interns throughout the series. I think in Revenge of the Island, interns actually become some like background characters, and they have their own outfits and stuff, and they are definitely put to the test. And Chris does not treat them well. He treats the contestants better, which is saying something.
Wow.
But Matt, they're interns. They work for free to get those college credits.
Yep.
Cause I'm an intern. Ba-da-da-da-da. That's a Bo Burnham's inside fucking. You should watch that.
Interns don't have thoughts or needs or feelings. It's perfectly fine.
It's all fine. When Owen comes out screaming, he makes the most important decision in the episode to go find some coconuts and eat some. And this is where Chef mentions, like, why are there coconuts in Northern Ontario? Mm-hmm. And in his delusion, I guess is the best way to do it, Owen makes Mr. Coconut.
I wonder if it's a reference to something.
It is a reference to something.
Man, I know. I was making
Okay.
They really this is like the start of what was eventually Total Drama Rama, where they had to like, at least in the title episodes, met like reference a movie of some sort that I don't know if that demographic would have even cared or known about.
True.
And this is the first of that, where they reference Castaway directly in the title and put a coconut in there, and the whole thing's about being on a deserted island. And I'm sure that totally hit home with the 12 or 13-year-olds watching this show.
Yeah, this was actually a reference to the Backyardigans episode where they're castaways.
God damn it.
What?
Castaways.
We are castaways. That song made its rounds on TikTok.
Ahoy there.
I watched, there's a music theory analysis on Castaways, because it's actually got some really good harmonies and stuff in it.
Is Backyardigans relevant again because of TikTok? Is that what's happening?
If anything is relevant again from the mid 2000s, it's probably because of TikTok.
Okay, just making sure. That is a foreign world for me.
Meanwhile, Heather, Gwen, and Duncan have found a cabin in the tree, but there's a skeleton there, and it freaks out Heather before they realize that it's that it's a fake one.
But one thing to note, she fell off like a 2-story height, and she's fine. Like,
Yeah,
she fell on her back. She
listen.
didn't fucking die.
Yeah, I don't know, Gabe. I think we're past the point of like any of these cartoon characters actually getting hurt.
Okay. At the same time, though, when they see the shark and they're swimming, this was earlier, after, all the cabins and things were in the water, and then they got on the island, they see a shark, and they all jump out of the water and Scooby-Doo run in the air, all to the cabin that Duncan was in.
Yeah.
I for some reason I was thinking for Flintstone, but I think it was the Flintstones, I should just say. But I think they're all of the same era.
There's far more cartoonish shenanigans even farther through the episode, where characters just like do not get hurt when they definitely should have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just it's a common theme with this show, especially. Even though there are times where they actually do get hurt or actually get poisoned.
Like, you think of Cody when he was in, like, he got really hurt and was in a full body
Mauled
cast.
by a bear.
Yeah.
So Heather decides to stay at the cabin. Gwen and Duncan decide to go their separate ways. Duncan takes a bow and arrow. Notice I say arrow singular.
To the knee.
Wow.
What?
Is it 2011 called?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just referenced.
Arrow to the knee.
Arrow to the knee.
This is another Backyardigans reference.
Yeah, it's Backyardigans.
Everything's Backyardigans.
I just picture one of those like the hamster in that show wearing like the dragonboard helmet.
Hamster?
Or not guinea pig I should say.
Guinea pig?
I don't think there was a guinea pig.
Wait, well, okay, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong show. What's Backyardigans?
I think you're thinking of Wonder Pets.
I'm thinking of Wonder Pets, I am. Okay, there you go. Fuck, I have to find out where Backyardigans is again.
Backyardigans. I'll send you a picture.
It's like the weird CG show where like there's a kangaroo and some weird blue.
Oh,
did you know that?
Fuck, I do remember this show now. All right, well then picture the dragonboard helmet on the penguin there. That
there you
works.
go.
There.
Did you know that the penguin was played by the same voice actor as Aang for a season?
For a single season.
Wow.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Oh, and the moose is the same guy who played Andre in Victorious.
Oh, amazing!
Really?
Yeah.
That's good casting.
The more you know.
When we come back from the commercial break, Owen is counting down that he's been stuck there for 11 minutes. And
this is
in...
Yeah, this is actually another multi-layered reference to the Backyardigans, because before he actually creates Mr. Coconut, you see him with lipstick, and he uses this lipstick throughout the episode to not only do some war makeup later on, but even to make Mr. Coconut, but he counts on the tree 9 to imply that he's been there for 9 minutes, and then later on in the outhouse he counts 11 minutes. And this is another reference to the Backyardigans.
How?
Because 9/11.
The passage of time is.
Oh my
God! What? Wait!
Matt!
Wait!
Wait, what? I just heard what you said.
Yeah, and one of the kids who would watch the Backyardigans would be Chris, whose birthday is 9/11.
Okay, this is that is such a strange. Okay.
You had me,
You lost me.
and then you didn't, and you'll never get me back.
Oh, and it was also because the Backyardigans planned it.
So Owen's been stuck for 11 minutes, and his beard is now fully grown. His clothes are tattered. He is a mess. But he's there with Mr. Coconut.
Yeah. Can we just acknowledge the impressiveness? Like I'm spending years refining my beard, you know? This dude fucking grows a full length, beautiful, gorgeous blonde mess on his chin in 11 minutes.
And he's like 16.
And he's right, he is. He's hitting puberty like no one's business right there.
Oh yeah. And then as he's making Mr. Coconut, an arrow flies through him.
Through the coconut, by the way, not through.
Through the coconut, yes. Good clarification. And Owen is freaking out because there are headhunters, and maybe not the best aged phrasing we're still probably going to use that word to talk about things.
Let's just say this whole episode's kind of problematic. Just borderlines on that.
I'm not
This
too
guy-
familiar with that. Like, what is?
Just like, well, it's a way to put it's a way to stereotype native peoples, especially especially uncontacted ones.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we'll the verbiage we may use, it may slip out, but it's not the best usage. Does not age very well
No.
from 2007 to now.
No.
But there's a good joke from Duncan when it cuts to him where he says, "Man, I should have made more than one arrow."
You know, I was really confused because I was like, I had no idea where or when or how he got that bow and arrow. And then I was like, oh, he was kind of whittling away at some wood at the beginning of the episode. I guess he made the arrow then.
Yeah, I think so. But it's okay because he found something in the bushes, and it's a lot of fruit that he just starts stabbing. So he's got a lot of bananas and pineapples, which again are very tropical.
Well, hold on, because like, isn't there like a moment where like the fruit's like thrown at them? Like I feel like the fruit doesn't just show up. I thought something happened.
So there was a sound of movement in the bushes, and then Duncan jumps at it with a knife. Don't know where he got a knife.
Right. Okay.
And
well,
he
he
just
has his
starts
pocket knife.
He's
and-
Duncan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's one of the campers. He's gonna run into them, and then he just starts stabbing vigorously into the bushes, and then he just has some bananas on his knife, and I took that as like the fruit fell from the tree, and that's what startled him. And he was like, oh,
yeah.
sweet.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My problem with that is he was kind of doing it far too like ambitiously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that was part of the joke. Is he
Yeah.
was like, what animal is he trying to hunt here that he is murdering in the bush, like very violently and horribly, and it's just some bananas.
Right. It's a prelude to Bug Snacks.
There you go.
Bug Snacks.
I don't know why that got me so bad.
Whoa.
Right after that, the Duncan finds an egg, a large bird egg of some kind. At first, I thought it was like, oh, they're doing the pterodactyl thing. I don't know why I pronounced the P. You're not supposed to.
Because you probably read it.
Yep. No, I didn't even read it. I didn't write it. That isn't written down anywhere. I just said it
Matt.
in my head. But it's okay because we're caught up to my notes now. Because Duncan and Gwen return to the cabin, and Heather had found Owen's stash. I'm not sure where. Maybe it was in the cabin that they crashed with. I don't know. But she had chocolate with her. Didn't want to share due to the notion of, hey, Duncan said everyone was.
Well, no, it was Owen's stash. She said it was like she found it on Owen's bed. Oh, I thought you said.
But I don't know where. I don't know where she got the stash. Where she found his stash.
Oh, yeah.
Since they were all washed downstream.
Yeah, I think like you said, because the cabin, the boys' cabin, was also washed up, and then they were on the boys' cabin and then ended up on the island. You can only assume that she found it either then when they were on the cabin or, afterwards.
There's one thing I want to talk about that has to do with the candy.
Sure.
The chocolate bar, is it called Malamars? Is that what they
That's
call it?
That's what I was hearing.
That's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which is a Pokemon.
No, I know Malamars.
Yeah, Malamars is a chocolate-covered marshmallow graham cracker food.
Really?
Yeah, I was just surprised to hear
here we
it
go.
because it's a specific brand.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a sponsor.
MALLOMARS.
Yep.
It's
My grandma had it all the time at her house.
I have it all the time.
Gotcha. So it's Malomar. The Pokemon is Malamar.
Right.
Yeah. That was so funny. I was like, that is the Pokemon.
That's
what's the
classic Nabisco there.
And the Pokemon looks like a cookie, right?
No, it's a giant octopus squid.
Oh, okay.
See, it's the opposite of a cookie.
Indeed.
I didn't know octopus was the opposite of a cookie.
Now you know. Octopus, opposite cookie.
Mm-hmm.
8 arms.
Complementary colors.
Owen is protecting Mr. Coconut. His soft, flaky marrow is safe with Owen. We cut to Chris and Chef, who are having a very civilized brunch. Which Chris mentions, it's perfect because you're just getting done digesting breakfast, but you're not quite ready for lunch. And then, I don't know if it's just because I've been watching too many Gordon Ramsay cooking shows, but I've seen a lot of hollandaise recently, and when Chris mentions, hollandaise, it's pink. The stuff he eats is pink.
What does hollandaise look like?
Hollandaise is yellow. It's like an egg type sauce thing.
Maybe they were made with pink eggs.
Pink eggs, yep.
Yeah, did you see that weird fucking egg that they were carrying around the island? Like,
that's true. We don't know what color it is on the inside.
I will investigate this, so keep going. I'll find out the truth.
Okay, sounds good. We also find out that the dinosaur roars that are happening are through Chef, who is just blowing into a shell. That is some talent on Chef's part.
Actually, going back to the egg thing really quick.
Yep.
There actually are some types of fresh eggs that are more red in color.
Huh. What do you
There's
know?
also a recipe via the Land Before Time, but time is spelled Thyme. And it's a pig holiday sauce ingredients. Do you guys want to know what the ingredients are?
Go for it.
All right, it's 115, I guess that's grams of unsalted butter. I don't read recipes often. 2 egg yolks, 1 tablespoon of or maybe no, that's teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, sea salt to taste, cayenne pepper to taste, and 4 teaspoons of beetroot juice. So the beetroot juice is the root of the pinks. That's what
there
it
you
is.
Go. I was waiting for the pink. We got the pink.
You got the pink right there.
Duncan decides to leave with Gwen on the raft. Heather's yelling at them, "You can't just form an alliance and leave me." Well, you could.
And we will.
You have done that several times.
Yeah.
Right. She thinks she's going to die in her confessionals and is apologizing to her past alliances, which doesn't quite match up. I know they're trying to tell a story, but these were confessionals that you had to tell after the fact so that you knew you were okay. But I guess it's reality TV, so they can make you say whatever.
Right, and I kind of say this is the part of the episode that this is where it starts to get away from the show. I think because this starts a trend where I feel like everything gets so rapid paced and so all over the place that you don't know what the fuck's happening. And you're not understanding what's wait a minute, were they just doing this? Oh, okay, I guess now they're doing that. And it's a very weird segue and bounce between things.
Yep. Just cuts back and forth to a lot of things. First one, Owen comes out of the confessional totally nude with body paint.
Yeah, exactly my point. It's just it's all over the place.
It just starts.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say totally new because he has a loincloth, thankfully. The headdress is a little bit iffy.
It's all iffy. Every bit of it's very iffy.
Every mention we make of this dress throughout is going to be very iffy, for lack of a better term.
I guess you could say it's sus.
It is very sus.
I would not say it was sus. I would say it was racist.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Which is, I believe, is the next level after sus.
Yes. Speaking of sus, I got a Twitter notification today from a fake Disney XD account that said that says this. What's this? Looks quite sus. Catch Among Us the series coming this October to Disney XD.
Bro.
Oh, fucking stop. There's no way that's real.
No, it's a fake account.
Okay, thank God.
But I don't know why it showed up in my a notification for me.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, some weird trends that you're following, I guess.
I guess so. Thanks, Doc of Shame Twitter account. We cut back to Chris and Chef, who are doing some fun limbo. Chef is playing the drums. Chris is limboing. They're having a fun time. Duncan and Gwen are on the raft. Duncan wants to take the paddle because Gwen's not going fast enough because she paddles like a girl. But then they reach the same beach that they were on, and they realize that someone else is there because all these coconuts were eaten. Some continuity for you. They're also arguing over the egg because Duncan offered it to her and then took it back when they got back to the island, and then the bird flies over them, and they're like, oh, nope, you can take it. The bird carries Duncan away, and Gwen lassos his foot and starts being carried away with them.
Yeah, this was another example of just strange cartoon logic and violence. Of if I throw a rope, it will just magically connect, and if I just we can both hold on as a bird flies away with the two of us.
It's fine.
Fine.
It's a large bird.
Large goose thing.
Owen finds Heather, screaming at her with the toilet plunger for a weapon.
Yeah.
Gwen and Duncan fall on top of them. I believe Heather hits Owen a few times. But then a snake just falls out of nowhere. And then the four run into the treehouse.
What is happening? It's just so insane. Here's the thing. I'm still somewhat enjoying it. I don't know what it is. I've been critical of these kinds of episodes before, but I've just reached a point where I just don't give a shit anymore.
There's a ton of nonsense.
Yeah, it's just nonstop.
Yeah. And twice, I believe Heather and Gwen both ask Owen, hey, what's with your fake beard? And then they tug at it, and Owen's like, ow.
Yeah,
because it's a real beard that he grew in 11 minutes.
Yeah,
that was a good gag.
Yeah.
they really hammer that one home.
Yep. And then this is up there for one of my favorite scenes, maybe in the entire show, at least in this season, was Chris and Chef are talking over tea. Chris decides he's like, I'm going to go check on the monitor to see how they're doing. And Chef's like, you know what, Chris? You're a really good host. And he cuddles him. And Chris is like, aw, thanks, man.
Rocks him like a baby. It's just so fucking insane.
It's amazing.
That's foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing though for Total Dramarama is that Chef's gonna take care of people like babies, and he took care of babies in Total Dramarama.
Yep.
Does that mean Chris is a baby?
Yes.
Yes.
But the
Judd
thing
is
is,
a baby.
that's that's Chef in his late stage of that's Chef being in his late stage of being dealing with toddlers. That because Chris is basically his last one. Everyone else at that point has grown up and has become at least teenagers so that they can fend for themselves.
Yeah. They're in the treehouse. They're playing I Spy, including Mr. Coconut in on the deal because, of course, Mr. Coconut is there and is important, and they're treating like a person.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Coconut is important.
Is important. Yeah. Heather mentions that she's the only one left with any shred of sanity, and Gwen mentions this coming from the girl who changes friends more often than I change my socks, which was a sick burn.
That was Duncan, I believe.
That was Duncan. Okay, my bad. Still a sick burn.
Still solid, yeah.
Gwen mentions they're going to die, that the producers forgot about them, and Owen's very upset because he never fulfills his Owen gets jiggy fantasies.
This part made me question my morality.
What do you mean?
Why am I willing to put up with this?
Yeah, and also the fact that he's a teenager talking about these things in these ways.
This episode is, haha, I like Owen. And then he's like, oh man, I'm gonna miss my first kiss, my first handhold. And I'm like, haha, okay. And then he's like, all my get jiggy fantasies. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And he does this little dance with, the toilet plunger.
And the music was not helping.
He was going to, he was on a redemption arc for me, and then it just kind of came crashing down here. It's just like, okay, cool.
I think he's about to say, like the one where, and then someone shouts, "Make him stop!"
Yeah, thank you.
And Heather stuffs a banana in his mouth, and he thanks her.
Okay, listen. Heather puts the banana in his mouth, like she just grabs it off the table side, and he just, like, deep throat swallows it in one bite, peel and all.
Yeah.
So one for you.
Owen has, like, the digestive tract of a goat.
Can eat fucking anything.
Just digest anything.
Perfect. And Owen brings up, hey, we should, Owen felt so good earlier in the episode about confessing his sins to the camera that he says, okay, if we're all gonna die, we need to all confess our sins. And they all do that off camera.
So,
this is one of the
what's
things
the
that
fucking
irked me
point?
the most about this episode.
What's the fucking point, then?
Because they want to make the jokes of, oh my god, they did horrible things without actually saying what the horrible things were. Because we hear about what Duncan went to juvie for, and he said, well, that's not as bad about what Heather did. And Heather's like, well, what about Gwen, if that's even your real name? And that mystery is the punchline.
Sure,
Just
I
pissed me
guess.
off.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's like one of those things that just like I get what they're trying to do, but like they instead are just leaving it. To me, I think that they could have done that so much better because it just felt like they just left us out of like some sort of really interesting character development, because like that's the one thing that, like, if there's any use for these filler episodes, it's let's find out more about these characters. And in some ways we already have, but at the same time, like, that could have been a really cool moment to, like, hear about their backstories, see why he went to juvie, see what the fuck was going on, like, and like we heard most of Owen's confessions. Why couldn't we hear the other three's? I don't know. It just felt very. I get what they're going for. I don't know if it was executed well.
That's fair. Owen decides to sit down to sleep, and a spider comes down on his face, so he screams. They decide they need to get out of there, and Owen sees smoke in the distance. So they decide the best course of action is to racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them.
No.
Duncan, they all decide to take the lipstick from earlier and put on quote-unquote war paint.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Duncan's face paint is
much more like
the
a
rock
rocker.
band Kiss kind of makeup.
Wow, Duncan was the least problematic.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So they charge towards the smoke. They call themselves headhunters again, which again, yikes. Owen throws Mr. Coconut at the snake to get out of them, and then they also say, this is the one I hated. Owen says, "Let's get our oogie boogie groove on," which is just bad. That was not a good line.
Yeah.
No.
And they show up at the producer area and scare Chef. Owen is convinced and is trying to convince Mr. Coconut that it was a mirage. Of course, we know that it wasn't.
Why did they build it so close to where they had the set set up if they didn't want to get caught?
I don't know.
It's not that you gotta say with all the conniving and evil genius element of Chris McLean. Yeah, it's a bit of an L he just took.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think is like, oh, well, we've been keeping the campers away from this part of the island. It's a little close to our secret area, and that's partially the reason why we've been keeping them away from this part of the island. But, you know, we'll take that chance. And then they're like, how do you think they're going to end it? It's like, I don't know, whatever. They'll do what they do. Like, not even caring if they, like, get each other killed or, like, end up eating another one of them.
Yeah.
We're just glad that it ended like this and not horrible.
It turns out Heather was eaten. That's how she was eliminated from the game. She
Oh, God.
Owen consumed Heather.
I'm trying to think if they do that at all in later seasons.
Oh, wait!
Not Owen, not cannibalism, but just
Okay.
external circumstance like that.
You know what? I feel like I've not watched it, but later Total Drama seasons give me the vibe of cartoons that are there and aren't going anywhere, but have just enough viewership to keep it going, but just little enough viewership to get away with weird fetishy things. So it would not surprise me if there was something like a character gets eaten.
Unfortunately, I think only Dramarama gets into that territory.
From what I read, a big unfortunate.
Yes.
A big unfortunate that it's the Total Drama show that it has children, young children.
Oh man, I was hoping we could really get a Totally Spies, Powerpuff Girls 2016.
Oh, it's not nowhere near that level.
I just want my nummies.
If there's anything. Your what?
My nummies.
We're gonna move on. The cast is accosting Chris as this is as the rain continues to pour down. And Chris goes into his trailer with Chef and said, "I'd let you in, but there's only room for 6." Which made me chuckle.
Line.
Yeah. At the bonfire ceremony, Chris and Chef mentioned that they're so worn out and told the contestants to make sure that their cabins are always secure to the ground. And that they didn't really do very good teamwork during that challenge, and that 4 heads are better than 1. And Owen says, "Oh, I think you meant 5." And then Duncan brings up that there are 4 marshmallows on the tray, and there are 4 contestants. Because Heather gets 1, Duncan gets 1, Gwen gets 1, and Owen gets 1 because Mr. Coconut is eliminated from the game.
That's what pissed me off the most.
Owen is distraught. They all agree that whatever they confess back there stays back there. And then we see Mr. Coconut floating in the ocean as Owen, I think, makes a Titanic reference. I didn't write down what the words were, but he's like, "I'll wait for you."
I think it was Mr. Coconut, I'll never let go. Which is why I was confused, because he let
go.
Yeah.
All right. So, I wanted to try to figure out what the votes were for Mr. Coconut. So Duncan was surprised, meaning that he didn't vote for Mr. Coconut, meaning he didn't think that Mr. Coconut was available to be voted for. Obviously Owen didn't vote for Mr. Coconut, meaning Heather and Gwen were the votes for Mr. Coconut, and Duncan and Owen split between Heather and Gwen, so it was a 2-to-1 vote with Mr. Coconut leaving.
You know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if just Chris decided that Mr. Coconut was going to leave.
Yeah, this is one of those votes that I'm like, okay, I don't want to read too much more into this. After the shit they pulled the previous episode, we gotta just let it be. Let it
decide that
just
Mr. Coconut is the one to leave.
I gotta let this one just ruminate, I guess.
Yep. And that was the episode. That was Camp Castaways.
That's my thoughts exactly, Chris.
Well, no, I gotta say, like, I can't. Right before we started recording, I was just like, I was a little higher on this than maybe Gabe was not as high on it. I was like, maybe a little bit more high on it. Now, after sitting through, even though I just watched the episode and I just sat through that recap, now I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe it wasn't that good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode does this really weird thing where you kind of end it and you're like, oh, that was a fun episode. And then you sit down to think about it, and you have that icebox moment, where you're looking in the fridge and you're thinking about things afterwards, and you're like, oh, that either didn't make sense or that was not good.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that phrase before.
Yeah, that was a Hitchcock thing. Where that's how old the statement is, because they say the icebox, where you're looking in the icebox and you're thinking about what you want to eat, and then your mind wanders, and you're like, that plot hole didn't make sense.
Ah, one of those. All right, who would like to go first?
Me.
Okay.
This episode fucking reeks.
Oh.
I hated it. Like, yeah, some parts are funny, like that snake part. That made me chuckle. But everything else, like, this one episode is like 90% of One Piece. That's my thoughts.
Filler or
yes.
Okay, so what's your number?
0.
Okay, so I just want to read off your last few ratings. So starting at 19, you can have a 10, a 10, an 8.5, a 10, and then a 0 and a 0.
Good.
I love Gabe's ratings so much.
Oh, me too. I just thought that was really funny.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'll put this at a 4. That's generous, but I guess I'll keep it there.
Okay.
It had its entertaining moments. I felt like despite even like his problematic moments, I felt like this was a very strong episode for Owen, and that was something I've been kind of looking forward to, because I'm trying to remember why I even liked Owen outside of the fact that he's a bigger boy in nature. So yeah, I guess I think that the other characters were fine. I felt like the Chris and Chef moments were funny, but overall, I would just sit here and be like, it was a mediocre episode at best, and it just did not do much for like progressing any of like the overarching plot of the show.
I can agree with that. I'm actually a very similar rating. I'm giving it a 5. 2 of those points are from Chris and Chef, and three of those points are from the rest of the episode.
This episode does a really weird thing where it doesn't really have much plot to it. It doesn't move things along. And while I don't mind filler in some shows, like, for example, like if a show has filler, but it moves forward the characters, and we get that character development, which is usually the argument for fillers, that, fillers are there to develop the characters, which is why I don't Mind, let's say, the towny episodes of Steven Universe or something like that.
Right.
But this episode really doesn't do that. Like, you can maybe see you can argue there's development with Owen and Mr. Coconut, but that's like pulling, I think. This episode tricks you because there's so many fun gags and so many like just fun moments, whether it be between Chris and Chef, or between some of the other campers, or just the island itself. Like when everything was washing away, you see all the animals, and then like randomly, like there's like this telescope of a submarine that also goes by too. It kind of tricks you with all of these gags, and it's like, oh, that was a fun episode, and then you kind of sit down and think about it. It's like, oh, wait a minute, that probably wasn't the best, and that part was kind of racist, and wow, nothing happened this episode, huh?
Yeah.
But I digress. I think I'm going to give this one a 4, just on gags alone.
All right.
Man, they are really staking up the joint the last few times, huh?
Yeah, we had some really stretch of really solid ones, and then past couple have been not so good. I know it ends strong at least. At least I like the ending.
It's also been strange too, because I remembered always hearing about Mr. Coconut, but I never, this is an episode I've never watched.
Mm-hmm.
So
question: Did you know who was going home at the start of the episode?
No. At the start of the episode, I had no clue. I was like, I know the order from here on, so I was like, oh, that person's going home this episode.
Yeah.
And then the second that Mr. Coconut was introduced, I was like, oh, I know this spoiler. I remember now. This is the person going home.
Yeah. Oh, yikes. Yikes. But we have 4 episodes left.
Here's something that I forgot to mention. Did you guys catch at the beginning when Duncan, Gwen, and Heather are talking? And I don't remember the exact dialogue, but Heather calls Duncan a perv.
Oh God, no, I don't remember that.
Yes, I do remember that. That was, I think, it was something about. I think it was the way that he was talking about like them getting along. I think, and she was like stop talking to us, you perv, or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
something along those lines.
I want to see what that was edited to.
Yeah, it was right at the beginning.
Oh, in your dreams, perv was changed to in your dreams, nerd.
Okay.
Really, they censored moron? Oh my God. This censorship is wild. Heather says any moron can see when they get to the desert island, and they change moron to goofball.
Oh.
The American audience is way too sensitive for a word like moron.
Moron.
Oh,
my
also,
God. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh, sorry. Now I'm thinking even more about the episode. Matt, can you change my rating to a 3?
Yeah.
Like, the second that they saw a skeleton in the treehouse, they should have just known that Chris was messing with them. But then there's the off-camera moment where Chris and Chef are like, where are the campers? With none of the campers there. So is that to fool the audience and just confuse them? Because that's all it did to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much that.
That was dumb.
Okay. All right.
What a weird episode.
Very weird one.
Speaking of weird episodes.
Hi, everybody.
It's time for Total Drama Rama. It's our favorite time of the show. We're gonna fucking die, and our souls are gonna leave our body. Woo!
Chris, you don't want to get copyright claimed.
That's a song I just fucking came up on my own. So if that's a song that's been out there, please, I would love to hear the original.
Chris,
original.
That's the Eye of the Tiger.
That's probably all right. Yeah. There you go.
It's a little bit close, yeah.
Yeah, I did. That wasn't my intention, but hey, there you go.
Chris, that's the opening number, like the theme song to Total Drama Rama.
Oh yeah, our souls are gonna leave our bodies. My favorite line from that.
Yeah.
So this one is overall episode 110, and I think this is the first episode of season 3 that I've shared.
Oh boy.
So
you let them get away with 3 seasons of this shit. They're unhinged now.
So this is season 3, episode 8. This one is coming in from Lori Elliott. Thank you, Lori. And this one is called Sugar and Spice and Lightning Frights. I'm going to use the Total Drama Wiki reading first. When 2 new kids show up at the daycare, Duncan and Lashana take issue with not what makes them different, but what makes them similar to the newbies. And I think here's the kicker. Okay. Here's the Wikipedia reading. 2 kids, Sugar and Lightning, become the newest students at the daycare, but Sugar's competitive nature and Lightning's heroic nature leads to drama with Lashana and Duncan respectively.
Matt, can you post, do you have pictures of Sugar and Lightning?
Yeah.
Why, sure, I would absolutely love to. In
Sugar
fact,
and
the more that I look at them, they start to look just a little bit familiar. Why?
Yep.
I think one might be the character Sugar, and I think one might be the character Lightning.
Yep.
From previous seasons.
So Pakatoa.
Yes.
Pakatoa's Sugar. I don't know.
Yes,
I forget where Lightning is.
Lightning is from Revenge of the Island.
Yeah, there you go.
I have no
Both
idea.
major characters in their respective seasons.
So there you go, guys. I just wanted to let you know that we are opening the Total Drama Rama universe.
It is the TDR CU right here, Cinematic Universe.
How's that make you guys feel?
I mean,
Especially
I'm
those
fine
who-
that. I don't know. Makes sense that that these characters would show up at some point.
So, I could be wrong. I remember seeing a clip, but I do believe that these characters stick around.
Really?
Yeah, let me see. I remember at least seeing one clip where I was just looking at clips where it was like every time in Total Drama Rama where the characters are aged up to teenagers, and Lightning was there. Yeah, I'm looking at season 3, episode 20, and I could see Sugar there. Sugar is just a part of this. Lightning is there. Yep. I guess they're just here now.
Introduce them in the 3rd episode of the season?
Season
not the
3,
first?
season 3, episode 8.
Oh, episode 8. It took them 8 episodes to introduce a new cast member. Okay.
Sugar Lightning. Wow.
Okay. This is just an I know that we have luckily been able to gather a little bit of a following thanks to the Total Drama just being still a very active fan base. And I'd just like to put out a call out there. Please tell us if you are a fan of the show. I just want to know.
Total Drama Rama specifically.
Yeah, exactly. The Total Drama Rama show. I am fascinated to know if people genuinely enjoy the show. Because I just sit here and I'm like, how are they getting away with this? How are they getting away with this? 3 seasons of this, and they're not going. And we know that they're going. They did get that announcement that there's going to be a new Total Drama Island of some kind in the future.
Yeah, on HBO Max. That's gonna be fun. I can't wait to hear about that and talk about it on the show.
Yeah, but like, so that's like the big that. So we know that they're returning to that, luckily, but, like, I don't know how the fuck they're getting away with this particular show or this particular spinoff for so long, because it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane.
So I'd also like to send out a question to everybody, if they could, tell us if you, really like the show, because we'd love for you to rate us on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, please do. We are approaching 3,000 plays on Dock of Shame, which is fucking wild.
That's crazy.
1,000 of those were me.
5,000 of the 3,000 is Cave.
No, we really appreciate everyone who's been listening so far. This has been a blast to make. I know we may not be the most consistent, but we appreciate the listens and keeping up with us that y'all do.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot.
Any last words?
Guys, Sugar and Lightning are here.
Who are they? I don't know who they are.
Sugar is from Pacateo Island. Lightning is from Revenge of the Islands.
This is the equivalent of, finding characters for, the Suicide Squad. That, it's the equivalent of just, digging deep into the fucking comics of Total Drama and pulling out random-ass characters that are not in any ways important to the Total Drama universe.
No. Well, I mean, both of these characters were important in their seasons, at least.
I watched Pacatao Island, and I think Sugar was there. She was fine.
I'm gonna send you what place she got.
She was, 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
But, she, was her impact, substantial?
No, because she was annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't wait for when we're 40 and we will be discussing these characters.
God damn it.
Till the end of time.
This has been the Dock of Shame podcast. Fill your life with some sugar and lightning. And we'll catch y'all next time.
Live your life like told Jared.
What?
Yeah,
the Dock of Shame podcast is brought to you.
Chris, repeat what you just said.
I said live your life like told Jared. It was a back to fucking earlier in the episode.
Because you just said live your life like told Jared. Left Love. We'll see you next time.
The Doc of Shame podcast is brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Doc of Shame and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.